Hello, this is Brent Barnhart here. I'm going to do a quick video on how to set up a Rosback 250C. Rosback 250C. These are also called 318s a lot, but that is not what these are. 318 is the system that they were on. It included the stitcher and everything. When the Rosback all by itself has the green belts, it's a model 250C. And no sooner do I say that, it says model 318 on it. However, that is the system model, so that's interesting. I never noticed that the tag said 318. But these are model 250Cs or 250RCs. But the engineers at Rosback and myself, I was good friends with Derek, and I know the engineering on this machine very well from top to bottom. Not the mechanics, the engineering, and it's a 250C. But anyhow, 318 250C. Real quick. Timing marks. When you are in the utmost down position, all of your blades, all of your shafts, we're here on this eccentric here, and you have a timing mark here, it's red, and then you have a timing mark here. Those are lined up, you're in the down timing position. You want to make sure that this chain is also in the timing position. You got a mark there and a mark there. Now, to be honest with you, what's interesting is those really can't get out of timing because they're locked together by chains. So unless you take the chains off, it can't get out of time. Now, this table up here has timing marks on it. You've got your standard one and your books that are under 4-inch one. I'm actually running a book that's something like 5.5 inches, but it runs better on this one here. I can't get it to run really good on this one, but it runs great on this one. So like any piece of equipment, whatever works the best. Sorry, I dropped my phone. So to get the position, you have a slip clutch. If you turn it, you can hear it clicking. See how it stops at certain marks? What happens is if you have a jam up right here with a bunch of books, instead of this being a fixed chain and the chain just keeps driving and grinding all the paper, these will just sit there and go click, 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 and it'll slip. So it won't do that. But to get it back in time, you just go to your marks using your big handle here and throw your brake on then to hold it. Then you just take your handle and turn it until you get to the timing mark. There's the standard book size, and then there is the 4-inch book size. Now I always take them to a center punch on the table here where the marks are. Obviously that red marker may wear off. Without the feeders on here, sometimes there's a top bar that has the marks already on it. In fact, here it is. This is the bar that normally goes down the middle. There's 2 of them, and it presses down on the books. But it's not a real necessary piece. It's helpful when the books are coming out of the stitchers and all that to get it up underneath here. But these, where they put the marks. So here you can see where it says standard in 100 millimeters. In fact, I'm kind of laughing at myself because it looks like I got the table marked not quite right. I have this one click up past 100 millimeters. So when I get done making the video, I may need to, with some solvent, take my little red mark off the table and move that back. But I'm curious how it's going to run because I think I've been running it in that position right there, and it's been running great. So I'll just go ahead and take and put it where it's supposed to be correctly. That's standard. And then that there would be the this one here where I seemingly have messed up. Let me check that one more time. Yeah, so that would be standard, and then there would be your 100. So that'd be interesting to see how it runs, because I think I was running it on the other one. Okay, now when you go to set, so we're all ready to set the trimmer up here, okay? So the first thing you want to do is open up the knives wide so that you can work and get a measurement on your book. In this case, we want to set the book up at, you know, it's hard to make a video with trying to hold the camera. I believe this book is something like, it's just under 5.5 inches. So down inside here, you have your scale, and I will go ahead and open up the machine here real quick so you can see. Might as well. Okay, so here's your scale. You'll see your nut or bolt right here. And then you can see the ruler where it says 5. And then if we were down there a little closer, I think there's actually a line on here somewhere that you can't quite see. But all you got to do is line the center of the bolt up with the number. So 5 inches. So we want to cut it 5 inches. And then we also have to do it on the other side. We have to come over here, and we're going to loosen this, and it slides up and down, and set it on the number that we want, which is 5 inches. And after that is set up on just this model of Rosback, we can make minor adjustments here by loosening up the set screw, and by turning this to the right or the left, we can gently move it forward or backwards, like a micro adjustment. So if the book is trimming a little crooked, you know, let's say, you know, it's cutting, you know, not straight, maybe that your side guides are not perfect. This one's back a little farther, which caused it to get cut. You've got to move this one up a little bit to make it straight. But on other 250R models that have the wheels in the middle, you just simply have to go back and adjust the actual set screw to where you want it. All right, so that is setting the face trim. Now we want to set the head and foot trim, and that scale is right here. So once again, I'm going to sit the phone down and tip it here a little bit, and I'm going to screw that in until we get to 8 inches. Okay, so here on the scale, you can see that we're at 8 inches, right where the casting meets the ruler. And that's done by inserting your handle here, and this moves here when you turn it on a screw, which is the same handle that goes up here and adjusts for the front. Okay, now you also have this here to lock when you're done or unlock. I take these off. I don't even leave these on Rosbacks because it's just in the way. I've never noticed the castings are so heavy, there's no way that that screw is going to vibrate and this is going to move. In fact, most of them even have a set screw up underneath here you can turn that locks them in, which is, I don't get it. I don't know why they did that. But not needed. This is a customer's machine. I told him he can take it off if he wants. I would. One less thing. All right, now we need to, we're all set up. We got the timing up. We set the front of the book. We set the width of the book. And then I am not going to do this for this video, but to set the thickness of the book, you loosen the handles all the way till they're loose. And then just give it a slight turn until you feel it catch. That's home position. And all the arrows on the top will be pointing inward, okay? When they're all loosened up, and then you just turn them slightly where they catch, all the arrows are going to be pointing in. And then there's a mathematical function that you'll find in the manual. You'll take the book, and you're going to measure the thickness of the book. So I've taken used vernier, and this book comes to like 0.1 in thickness. And I'm not clamping down on the book. You know, when you go to measure the thickness, it's a loose thickness. You don't squeeze the book. And you do it here, you measure the thickness at the crown of the book, not at the back. It's always going to be thicker at the crown where the fold is. All right, and then the mathematical function is you take that number and divide it by like 0.05 or something like that. Well, I got the manual out here. Take and divide it by 0.042. So like what did I say that was? 0.1 divided by 0.042, and I think it comes to, and then round it up to like the nearest half a number. So if it's 3, if it comes to 3, you turn the dial 3 full turns. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and then that sets your height. And then of course, if you're having any trouble, back off of it by like maybe a half a turn or something. Okay, continuing with our setup, we're going to crank a book through by hand now. So all we got to do is take a book, and you may recall that we made our marks for our top and our bottom where we wanted to cut, and then we found the center between the finished cut, and then we lined it up with the center mark on the table here. There's a center mark. You can see the center mark right there in the table, and then we line that up with the center mark of the book, and then we bring the sides in, not so it's just almost touching, but not quite. We don't want it to pinch the book. All right, and then we're ready to crank that through by hand, which we're going to do with the big crank, and we're going to set our joggers, and then to do that, we are going to put the control box on setup. So it's on the setup mode, and I'm going to turn the crank, and I'm going to crank this book through by hand. We want to make sure that it comes forward and hits the stops. You can see the book stop right there. See how it came up? And the book is just back behind it. So I'm gonna turn the crank and make sure it comes up and hits the stop, which it has. And I'm gonna cut the book. Okay. And the book comes forward, and we want to make sure it hits the stops here, which you can now see that. you can see that the stops have come up right there and the book's hit it, okay? So the book is at stop position. And then we want to continue cranking the handle until this here is inside the, that it's in the innermost position here. These are your side packers, joggers, packers, okay? And then we're going to take and gently move this in until it touches the book. I got to set the phone down for a second. You want move it forward until it touches the book and then back it off like 1/32 of an inch, just a tiny bit. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to move this one in until it touches the book. Okay, I got to set the phone down again. All right, we're going to run some books through here. Just a reminder, I don't have the delivery running. I put a new DC controller on it, and I'm waiting for what's called a little resistor that goes in it that sets it for the size motor. I'll get that tomorrow. Other than that, I got to catch them by hand. So we're going to run it here and run some books through. Too hard to keep an eye on both places on the machine. You don't ever want to reach in and put your hands under the blade. Always pull it out. This way or this way. Keep your fingers out from under the blade. And you also want to check your timing marks, and make sure you're on, which we're okay. 250C. It's got the belts. It has the belt feed in the back, which those are really nice. I also convert regular Rosbacks to the belt versions. So if you have a regular Rosback, I can convert it to this model myself. And if you're interested in a feeder, I have feeders for them. And even though Rosback don't make them, I still, we entirely refurbish them, repaint them, and redo the electronics if we have to. We don't have the covers on this one. The customer was here the other day. I just had it taken with him. Yeah, I mean, I can take a Rosback that was made in 1970, entirely strip it down, and when we've put new bushings and bearings and reworked all the knife castings, they're like brand new. And most of these that have been around since 1970 have never been rebuilt. They last a very long time. They're good machines. Easy, simple to run. The belt machines are much easier to run than the ones that have the wheels down the middle. The ones that have the tires down the middle, those are not hard to run either, but you've got a few more settings and it's a little bit more touchy. So here you have it. Thanks.